Tonight on Best Bits, Josh Hoker did a WWE thing.
Joy, the master of disaster, the true-speaking pastor's pastor.
Christian Leroy Duncan hit Tulio with that spinning shit. Chris Padilla made Ismail's chin fail. Oros Medic took Muslims' Salah chin off. Gabriel Bonfim doesn't like cricket, reggae or Jamaica, so he need him. Welcome back to Best Bits. What a decent bit of Apex slop, eh? After talking trash about it in the prediction video, it turned out to be a pretty decent night of fights. Let's just get right into it. The first fight of the night was Jackson McVeigh versus Zach Reese. Timothy McVeigh, the Unabomber, versus Zach Reese. Zach Reese submits the Unabomber in the second round. Absolutely flawless jits work from Zach Reese. Very well done, very clean, very to the point. Not much really to say about that. Jackson McVeigh kind of just got dominated, to be honest with you. I mean, it was a little bit back and forth, and then Zach Reese just pulled ahead and stayed ahead, and that was the fight up until the finish. So, alright start to the card. Pretty decent start to the card, not going to lie. Next up, we've got Daniel Marcos versus Miles Johns. Another decent submission finish. Daniel Marcos latching up the rear naked choke on Miles Johns. Miles Johns really didn't have much to offer. Marcos just stayed on him, kept the pressure on, and Miles Johns wilted fairly quickly under that pressure. He's passed the Miles Johns test. Big things in Marcos' future, I do predict. The next fight, Denise Gomez versus Tisha Pennington. We had Tisha Pennington, I do believe. Or maybe we were smart. Maybe we went with Gomez. We went with Gomez because she's more manly. That's right, we went with the more manly Gomez, which was an absolutely excellent prediction on my part. I was definitely in two minds of it, considering I thought I'd picked Pennington. But no, solid pick from me, Gomez. Obviously, you go with the most manly woman. But both lesbians as well, so you go with the more manly of the two lesbians to get the win every time. Next up, we've got Josh Hokert versus Max Gimenez. I mean, Hokert was kind of the lock of the card. Everyone had him the round one knockout. Went out there, you know, Max Gimenez tried to make it technical. He tried to make it an MMA affair. He tried to make it a martial arts affair, and Josh Hokert just came and put one on him. And that was all she wrote. Then Josh Hoker gets on the mic, does a Chael Sonnen homage. Yeah, interesting. A little bit outdated, to be honest with you. I mean, there was a time where that was like, wow, it's incredible. And don't get me wrong, we don't get a lot of like amazing interviews like within the cage these days. You know, the McGregor days are over. No one even really tries anymore. The UFC doesn't really even want it anymore, I don't think. But, you know, Hoker goes on there, cuts a WWE promo, calls out Walter Walker. Forgot his name for a second there. Calls out Walter Walker, says he sucks. I actually would pick Walter Walker over Hoker. So that'd be interesting to see. Be an interesting matchup. I would go with Walter by heel hook. I'm not gonna lie with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hoker's decent though. You know, he can wrestle. He can do some wrestling, and you know he can got big hands. Got big meaty lunchboxes for hands. Evidently. I don't know. I feel like Max Gimenez was kind of a gimme though. You know, they were giving him an easy fight though. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see who he ends up fighting next. We'll see who he ends up fighting next. Next up, Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Mayra Bruno Silva. We had Cavalcanti. We said it was going to be a decision. We said she was just going to pick her apart from the outside and just kind of stay on top and just be ahead in every position. And that's basically what we've seen. Nothing to write home about, to be honest with you. Probably one of the more dull fights on the card. I mean, it was my opportunity to go for a piss, put it that way. Yeah, on to the next one. Ronnie Barcelos gets the unanimous decision over Ricky Simone. I had Ricky Simone, a little bit disappointing. Decent back and forth fight, actually quite entertaining for a decision. Both guys threw everything at each other. I thought Ricky Simone was winning, but I was also biased because I picked Ricky Simone. I'd have to watch it back. I don't know. You win some, you lose some, right? That's all right. That's okay. We'll take our losses like a man. you know. We'll take our incorrect predictions like a man. My earphone just got caught on my keyboard. On to the next one. Jamal Emmers versus Haider Emil. Damn, I had Haider Emil for this one. Knockout in round 1. We almost had it. Haider Emil was doing bits periodically throughout the fight. And then Jamal Emmers just said, listen, man, I know you can't grapple, so we're going to grapple. And that's what it turned into. Jamal Emmers just holding him down, landing those peppering ground and pound shots on Haider Emil over and over again. Sucks to see, poor Haider Emil. I expected big things from Haider Emil, but that's a bit of a shame getting stopped by Jamal Emmers like that. But you know, Jamal Emmers, the crafty veteran, the crafty vet, just doing the crafty vet maneuver to get the win. And you know what? It paid off. Gets the unanimous decision victory. Haider Emil, big setback for him there, and a really decent showing from Jamal Emmers, showing that he can mix up his game and diversify to get the win. So actually a decent showing for Jamal Emmers. Not so much for Haider Emil. Massive exposure to holes in his game. Just cannot grapple. Once he's down, he's going to burn all of his energy getting back up. He's going to rest on the fence the second he stays down, and you can just pull him back down again. That's just how it be. Next up, Christian Leroy Duncan. My most perfect prediction on the card. I said Marco Tulio and CLD. Those two guys, perfectly matched. Fundamentally even. When it comes to the kickboxing and the Muay Thai, both guys are fundamentally on a level playing field. And that's what we see in them going back and forth, trading shots, big shots back and forth, and then finding the range and landing big shots again back and forth. Marco Tulio was making Christian Leroy Duncan pay. He was hitting him with I think it was a right hook over and over again. And then the leg kicks as well. The leg kicks from Marco Tulio, absolutely devastating Christian Leroy Duncan. CLD stays in there though. He stays in there. He stays patient. And he started countering the leg kicks with a spinning back fist. Now I said in my prediction video, I said exactly, both guys are fundamentally on a level. The first one to get creative and throw some spinning shit is going to be the guy to do it. And Christian Leroy Duncan often ends up resorting to throwing spinning shit. So he starts countering the leg kicks. So he eats the leg kick and spins with the leg kick momentum and throws the spinning back fist. He did that like 2 or 3 times. He landed one earlier in the fight. He missed another, but found the range missing it. And then the next time he got his leg kicked, boom, lands that spinning back fist, rocks Tulio. Tulio's on jelly legs. He starts stumbling backwards like he's doing a little dance move. And CLD just stays on him, beats him down, beats him into submission. And that's all she wrote. Lovely little TKO, lovely little stoppage. I mean, exactly as I predicted, might I add, 100% down to the letter. Exactly as I predicted. Both guys will be evenly matched. Christian Leroy Duncan will throw some spinning shit. Will hit Tulio. Will follow him to the mat and finish him. Perfectly predicted. That was a good call from me. Next up, another spot on prediction. I had Chris Padilla beating Bonfim. Look, I don't rate the Bonfims that highly, and we're going to get to the other one. We're going to get to the younger Bonfim in just a moment. Got a little bit in between that. But before we get there, right? Before we go and talk about the younger one, we've got to talk about the older one. Chris Padilla, I said he'd easily dismantle Ismail Bonfim. Once we get past the first round, Ismail's gonna crumble, and that's the thing with the older Bonfim and the younger Bonfim as well, is that if you can just not let them play their game, they will lose. They will gas, and it's not even like they gas because they're tired. They're actually really well conditioned. They won't gas in a 5-round fight, in my opinion. They will gas if you don't let them have their 5-round fight, if that makes sense. And Chris Padilla just kept walking forward, just kept marching forward, just kept cutting off the cage, and as soon as Bonfim couldn't do that to Padilla, it was basically over. You could see immediately, as soon as Padilla just started being like, right, I've got to eat these shots and come forward and put pressure on you, Bonfim's whole body language changed. He was backing up. He wanted to engage in the grappling more and the clinching more. He does not like it, and that's the thing with the Bonfims, is that they've got great conditioning cardio wise, but they haven't got good conditioning to damage. And so if they can't control the range and they can't control the engagements, and they start eating damage, they just give up. It's the strangest thing. It's very Anthony Smith of them. actually. Like, okay, I've eaten a couple, now it's time to curl up into a ball. And that's more or less what Bonfim did, what Ismail Bonfim did. He just kind of lay on his back, tried to throw up a really, really poorly thought out leg lock, got beaten down some more, turned onto his hands and knees, and then got ground and pounded out. Really poor showing from Bonfim. Strong in like the first minute and a half of round one, and just absolutely plummeted off. Rumours of an injury, I've heard, so I don't know. UFC, right? Fucking, that's the sport. Next up, we had Yoros Medic versus Muslim Salikov. Listen, we had Muslim Salikov by knockout, but we did say, listen, this can go either way. We're going to take Salikov for the money, but damn, what a misstep by me. I should have known. That was a silly maneuver by me. Silly maneuver. You just think, don't you? You know, Salikov can grapple. He's not going to worry too much about falling over, or he's going to be able to do what he likes, and he's got that kung fu style, you know. So if you combine the two, he's pretty set. Oros Medic, fundamentally far more sound than Muslim Salikov. That's the thing with these kind of wilder kung fu, untamed, like karate-esque styles. Well, I don't know, we'll say kung fu-esque styles, yeah, where they throw all these crazy spinning maneuvers and these flashy kicks, and they do work, but when you come against somebody who is really good at the fundamentals, like an Oros Medic, we keep seeing time and time again that if they just stick to those fundamentals and don't bite on the silly shit, they can find you and put you out. And it didn't take long. It didn't take long for Medic to put him out. Did not take long at all. Really, really quickly in round one, like just about a minute in round one, manages to find, I think it was a right hook or right straight. Yeah, right straight, stepping in, right straight, just drops Salikov, gets him all wobbly. He falls down to his back, and that's all she wrote from there. Like no answers. Once he dropped, it was like that's it. I've eaten the shot now, and Oros Medic just kind of beat him down again. Little bit anticlimactic, actually. I mean, brilliant finish from Medic. Just you know, it was very like, oh, Salikov's not going to do anything. Okay, then it's over. He's been ground and pounded out. He had a moment. He had an opportunity to try and do something. He had an opportunity to try and clinch, like to hold, to try and pull Medic into him, or to try and butt scoot away. You know, he had a moment to try and do something, and with that moment, he just kind of spun round on his arse. So yeah, not a good showing from Salikov. Underwhelming from Salikov. But then again, if you get knocked out in a minute, it's usually an underwhelming performance. Next up, the co-main event, Joseph Morales versus Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell, why are we still in the UFC? Why are we still keeping you around? I mean, I know why. Matt Schnell's basically just here for people to build their, for like better prospects, to just build their name off of. Because Matt Schnell isn't terrible. Like, he's, you know, he's somewhere, you know, he's somewhere. He's a bit of a strange character, as Matt Schnell. You'll expose the occasional dude, but in reality, like, he's just there for the UFC to build names on him. You know, even during the walkout, he was like, they were talking about how he's surprised he's not been cut in the UFC. He was like, no, we've got a place for you here, Matt Schnell. We love you, Matt Schnell. And that's you know, it's just silly, man. It's just silly. Matt Schnell's literally only here to get knocked out or to get submitted, just for people to build a name off him. And it's a shame. We don't need to do that. We can have prospects fight prospects. I am a advocate for a meaner talent pool rather than being able to build these fucking names. Like, it's just irritating. It's just irritating. Nevertheless, excellent jiu-jitsu from Joseph Morales. Look, I'm not a grappling expert. My expertise lies more so in the stand-up. I say expertise. My knowledge lies more so in the stand-up. So, you know, watching it, I was like, oh, damn, you know, I understand the basics. You know, I understand the fundamentals. I didn't see the traps he was setting, to be fair. I didn't see the traps he was setting. I was like Matt Schnell's level of jits, you know. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just going through these motions. Shooting in on him. Matt Schnell, what were you thinking, man? What were you thinking? Then again, Schnell's also chinny as fuck. So what was he supposed to do? It was you know what? They just fed Morales an easy win. Basically just fed him an easy win. I digress. Shout out to Mike over at Next Gen for giving me a very cohesive BJJ breakdown of what happened. So Joseph Morales Went for the Kimura, tucked his legs in to fall into a crucifix, failed the Kimura, set a trap to let his arm go so that he would turn, so he, being Machnell, would turn to the right into a guillotine. That's from someone who knows more than me. I just read that from a text message for you. So there you go. That's my jiu-jitsu breakdown. That was not my own. Excellent work from Morales. I would have fell for it. Obviously. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him against a better caliber opponent than Machnell. I really would. I'd like to see what this guy can do. It's promising. Like, the jiu-jitsu was clean. Like I say, the fact that I know enough to understand it, right? But when you start seeing like very high level clean jiu-jitsu where there's not a lot of defense being done by Machnell, he's just falling straight into the traps. It's kind of hard to pick up on. It's just very quick. So yeah. So thanks, Mike. Over at next. Thanks, Next Gen Mike, as you saved in my phone. Finally, the main event. We had Randy Brown for this one. I mean, can you blame me? Can you blame me? I don't like the Bonfims. But you know what? Gabriel fought a solid fight. Did not let Randy Brown get going. This is like I was saying. The Bonfims have the same style. But the younger Bonfim, the better Bonfim, is better at imposing his will and staying in control. And then when the other guy starts trying to take a bit more control back from him, he stays more composed in those moments than the older brother. And yeah, it paid to his advantage. Randy Brown committed to going in. He went in there, threw some decent little shots. Just when you thought he was starting to make his comeback, like he'd found his rhythm. The second that happened, Bonfim clinched up, jumped and threw that knee, bonked him. There was a little bit of talk of early stoppage. I think Randy Brown could have survived, but I don't think he would have survived, gotten back to his feet, and then the fight would have carried on into the third, fourth, and fifth. I think he would have survived only to have been ground and pounded and possibly submitted. Yeah, that's all I could say about it. I do think he lost. I do think that was the beginning of the end, although maybe a little bit slightly early, but I don't need to see him get hit another 3 times in the head while he's defenseless, or I don't need to see him get strangled unconscious while he's dazed. It was over. He fell without he fell limp. His arms weren't out to catch him. He just toppled. So yeah, he was out until he hit the ground. We can call that a knockout. I still don't rate the Bonfims highly. I think it was a fluke. No, I'm joking. Actually, excellent finish from Bonfim. I like how they both fell as well. Like, he threw it into it. Like, if it hadn't worked, he might have put himself in a really bad position. But we like guys who take risks. So, Gabriel Bonfim winning me over slightly, actually. Winning me over to the Bonfim side with that finish over Randy Brown, who I thought would actually just land a big shot really early and just kind of set the tone of, I will not be bullied, and that did not happen. Randy Brown got bullied by Bonfim all over the place, and just as he thought he was going to try and make a move and win some respect back, Bonfim just put his lights out. So yeah, absolutely banging night of cards. I did pretty good on the predictions. I mean, I was positive on predictions, and the ones that I got right were actually not as perfect as the Christian Leroy Duncan prediction, but more or less perfect. We had the Chris Padilla TKO ground and pounds. We said that it would end in the first round either way with Medic and Silikov, even though I picked Silikov. We had Morales potential submission finish. I thought he was going to ground and pound him out, but Machnell wanted to grapple. Joseph Morales granted his wish, so a little bit skew with there, but we did say there was the possibility. We didn't pick it, but we said there was the possibility. So, pretty decent on the picks. Obviously, the submission for Zach Reese, that was another decent little pick there. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching all the way until the end. This has been Best Bits. If you enjoyed, leave me a like. I don't know, subscribe for more. Got some funny videos, got some other content you could go look at. I don't know. Until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.